Hello students, welcome to our YouTube channel. In today's session, we will discuss data interpretation bar graphs, helpful for your PO and clerk prelim exams. Before we start the session, in case if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon to get all the updates. Right students, let us start data interpretation bar graphs today. Right? Question number 1 to 5, study the bar graph carefully and answer the question that follow. Before we start, as all of you are aware, if you look at your PO exam and clerk exam, you take prelim, main. So prelim exam, PO prelim 10 to 15 questions, clerk prelim 5 to 10 questions. Main exam 15 to 20 questions. Here main exam in clerk 10 to 15 questions. Generally, any PO prelim or any clerk prelim you take, broadly you can say this is the breakup of your data interpretation. IBPSPO, IBPS clerk, SBA PO, SBA clerk, RRB PO, RRB clerk. Generally, clerk exam, prelim exam 5 to 10 questions, main exam 10 to 15 questions. PO exam, prelim 10 to 15 questions, main exam 15 to 20 questions. This is the weightage of your data interpretation. Now, when you look at your PO exam, it is very important, almost 15 questions out of 35. So, I can say almost some 50, around 50% of the questions, around 50%, and in main exam, more than 50%, almost 50 to 60% of the questions will be from your data interpretation. Right students, let us start the session. So, today's session, we will be taking up questions related to bar graphs, right? But before I start the first set, let me give you a broad overview of bar graphs. Now, when you look at your bar graphs, just let me explain this. What is this student? This is a normal or a simple bar graph. I am trying to explain you the types of bar graphs. Right? Now, if I look at this one, let's say this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. A, B, C, D. Right? Let's say this is B, this is C, this is D. Now, what is this bar graph called, students? This is called stacked bar graph. This is called stacked bar graph. What do you mean by stacked bar graph? One above the other. It is called stacked bar graph. Now, how do you read the values here? That is important, right? Now, let's say this is 100 and let's say this is 250. Let's say this is 375 and let's say, I'll do one thing. Let's say this is 325. Let's say this is 325 and let us say this is 350. Now, if I ask you, what are the total sales? Let us say this is particular bar graph represents sales of some XYZ company. Right? What are my total sales? If I ask you what are my total sales, we can say 350. How do you get total sales? Look at the top. So, it must be equal to 350, right? Now, how much is sales of A? Sales of A is this portion, 100. How much is sales of B? No, it's not 250. Don't say 250, right? B is starting here at 100 and what's the upper boundary? 250. So, it is upper boundary minus lower boundary. Here 100 starting at 0, 100 minus 0 is 100, 250 minus 100, it is 150. Now, you can tell C. C is 325 minus 250, it is 75. How much is D? 350 minus 325, it is 25. Now, if I add these four, 100, 250 plus 100, it must be equal to my total sales. Yes, it is equal to my total sales 350. That is how you read your values from the stacked bar graph. Right, students? Now, there is one more type of bar graph. I am erasing this now. There is one more type of bar graph. All of you might be aware of this. What is this bar graph called, students? This is called frequency distribution. In school days you might have come across, or in simple words we call it as histogram. We call it as histogram. Right? So, let us start the bar graph set now. Now, before we start, these are the different types of your bar graphs. Right, students? Let us start. Let us begin. First set, question number 1 to 5. First set, question number 1 to 5. 1 second. Study the bar graph carefully and answer the questions that follow. Okay. Let us look at the bar graph first. Now, while watching the video, we suggest you that you pause the video for every question. You try that question for yourself, then continue with the video. First you try for yourself, then see what approach you are following, what approach we are discussing, then accordingly you can check your answers. Right, students? So, this is the bar graph. The bar graph shows sales of 2 companies across 5 cities A, B, C, D, E in 2022. So, year 2022, we have A, B, C, D, E, we have 5 cities, we have got sales of 2 TV companies. The first one represents, the representation is given here, the first one is Samsung, the second one stands for Sony. So, Samsung, Sony, Samsung, Sony, Samsung, Sony, Samsung, Sony, so on for 5 companies, for 5 cities it is given the sales, right. Now, if you observe here, the first bar represents Samsung and second bar represents Sony. If I want total sales of a city, for example, total sales of A, what should I do? Add 600 plus 500, 1100. Total sales of E, 800 plus 650, 1450 are both the models, are both the brands, both TV companies, right, put together. If I want total sales of Samsung in all the years, what should we do? We need Samsung sales in all the cities. So, add only Samsung bar A, B, C, D, E together 600, 650, 1250, 1950 plus 650, 2600 plus 800, it is 3400. Similarly, if you want total sales of Sony, you have to add Sony bar in all the 5 cities. So, this is the basic information about your bar graph, right. So, we have 2 TV companies, sales of 2 TV companies in 5 cities A, B, C, D, E, right. This particular set is your clerk prelim exam set. This has appeared in your IBPS or SBI clerk or RRB clerk level set, clerk level prelim exam set, right. Let's start with the first question, students. What is the ratio of number of TVs sold by Samsung in cities A and E together to Sony in C and D together? I want sales of Samsung in A plus E together, okay. Sony in C plus D together. You can add for yourself. Samsung in A and E. A it is 600, E it is 800. 600 plus 800, 1400. Right. Sony in C and D. Sony in C 750. In D, Sony is 800. So, 1550. Right. So, if I simplify, 5 is a common number, 5 28s, 5 31s. So, what is the ratio? 28 is to 31, it is present in choice 5. 28 is to 31, it is present in choice 5. Right. Let us move to the next question. Let us move to the next question. Right, students. Second question. Number of TVs sold by Sony in city E is what percentage of TVs sold by Samsung in city B? City E, Sony is what percentage of Samsung in city B? X is what percentage of Y? What do you write? X is what percentage of Y? There are 2 keywords here, right? Anything that follows of, any quantity that follows of, any quantity that follows than, we are comparing with that number must be in the denominator. So, if you observe here, number of TVs sold by Sony in city E, How many TV sold by Sony in city E? 650. This is what percentage of Samsung in city B? Samsung in city B is 650. So it is very clear. 650 upon 650 percentage means into 100. So simple 650 cancel. My answer has to be 100%. 100% is present in choice 4. Right? It's a very simple question, students. This is clerk level prelim exam set. Right? Let us look at question number 3. What is the total number of TVs sold by Sony across all the 5 cities? We have discussed this, right? How to find total sales of Sony, add all Sony values in all the 5 cities. 500, 600, 1100, 750, 1850, 800, 2650, 650. How much? 3300. 3300 is present in option 1. It is simple addition, students. It is a very simple question. This is how you get your questions in your IBPS clerk, RRB clerk, SBI clerk, prelim level examination. This is definitely not main exam set, prelim level set. That is why we generally tell you, after you do your miscellaneous questions, simplifications, approximations, series, individual questions, quadratic comparisons, definitely out of 3 sets given, in clerk you get 2 sets, definitely should be able to solve 8 questions, 7 questions out of those 10 questions, right? Questions won't be difficult in prelim exam. If little bit of practice, little bit of analysis, little bit of what you call looking at the models, practicing those questions, definitely everybody should be able to score 7 to 8 marks out of 10 marks in the exam. Right, students? Let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Question number 4, students. What is the difference between total number of TVs sold by Samsung and Sony in city C and city A? Fine. What is Samsung and Sony together in city A? These two together, Samsung and Sony, means you have to add these two together. 600 plus 500, 1100. And city C, 700 and 750, it is 1450. So clearly, the difference between 1100 and 1450 is 350. 350 is present in choice 3. 350 is present in choice 3. Right? Next question. See how easy the questions are. You cannot afford to lose marks. All these are your previous exam actually appeared in your exam. These kind of sets have appeared in your actual clerk level prelim examination, students. So these are actually easy questions. You cannot afford to lose marks in these questions, right? What is the average number of TVs sold by Samsung across all the 5 cities together? So obviously, you have total sales of Samsung. If you remember, at the beginning while we were discussing this set, I told you we have added the total of Samsung. If you remember, okay. Otherwise, once again we will add 600, 650, 1250, 700, 1950, 2600 plus 800, 3400. How do you get average? Average is sum of all numbers divided by total number of numbers, right? Sum of n numbers by n. So we have 5 cities here. So we divide by 5. 5, 630, 5 8s. So it has to be 680. 680 is present in choice 5, right? Let us move ahead to second set. The second set, question number 6 to 10. Study the bar graph carefully to answer the questions that follow. This set is your PO prelim level set. This is your PO prelim level set. See, here I am not saying it is IBPSPO, SBIPO, RRBPO, etc. It is PO level prelim exam set. Right, students? Question number 6 to 10. Let us look at the graph first. The bar graph shows percentage distribution of 1,80,000 by a mother to her 4 daughters. Kalyani, Mallika, Padmaja, Vasanta. There are 4 daughters. Mother is distributing this 1,80,000 to her 4 daughters, right? And percentage of amount invested in business by each daughter out of the amount she received. That means, see here, what is the first bar represents? Percentage of amount received by each of those 4 daughters. Second bar, this one, the dotted one, this represents percentage of amount invested. Mother has distributed total 1,80,000. Now, this bar graph is in terms of percentage. Total money is distributed, right, to all the 4 children. Now, when I add all the percentages of these 4 daughters, it must be 100%. If you want, you can check. 20% she received, 35%, 55, 15, 70, yes, plus 30, 100%. Total 1,80,000, if I say in terms of percentage, 100% is distributed among 4 daughters, Kalyani, Mallika, Padmaja, Vasanta. These are the percentages. When we add this, it must be equal to total 1,80,000. Then what about your second bar? The second bar is talking about the amount invested by the daughter out of the amount received. See, friends, don't misunderstand this set, please. She has not, sir, she has got 20%. How come she has invested 25%? She has not invested 25%. She has invested 25% of the amount received. How much she has received? 20. She has not invested 25%. She has invested 25% of 20. That means what is 25% of 20? 25% means 1/4 of 20%. That means she has invested only 5% of what she has received. She has received 20%. She has invested 5% in the business. Right? Don't take this as 25%. Similarly, when you see here, she has invested 20%, not total 20%. Whatever she has received, out of the 20%, she has invested in the business. If you look at Mallika, out of 35, 20%, 10%, 3.5, 20% means she has invested 7%. It's not 20. 20% of 35%, so 7%. Look at this. Padmaja has invested 30% out of 15%. 10% 1.5. 30% means it is 4.5% she has invested. What about Vasanta? 35%. So 9 plus 1.5, it is 10.5%. How do you calculate, ma? 10% 3, 30% 9, 5%, 10% half, 3 half 1.5, 9 plus 1.5 is 10.5. These are the amounts invested by them. Whatever they have received, 20% she has invested 5% in the business. 15% was with her. Out of 35%, 7% she has invested in the business. 28% was with her. Out of 15%, 4.5% invested. 10.5% is with her. Out of 30%, 10.5% invested. Remaining 19.5 is with that particular daughter only. So, hope I explained this set clearly. You got the information. Only mistake which you can make in the exam is you take this as total percentage. No, that is not the amount they have invested. Out of the money received, they have invested that much percentage. That you have to calculate, right? Now, this is slightly, you can understand the difference between clerk level set and PO level set. Now, it is slightly involves calculations, right? Let us start now. Question number 6. What is the amount left with Mallika and Padmaja after their respective investments? Left with Mallika and Padmaja, right? See here. How much they are investing? 20%. 20% is 7%. 30%. 30% of this is 4.5%. Obviously, how much is left now? Out of 35, she has invested 7%. So, how much is left now? 28%. Plus, how much is left with this? 15% she has invested 4.5. So, how much is left? 10.5. So, both of them together left with 38.5%. So, it is 38.5% of 1,80,000 directly. See, don't find out 35%, again 20% of the time waste. She has investing 7%, she has invested 4.5. What is the total amount they are receiving? 65. Out of that, they invested 11.5. You remove, you will get how much? 38.5, right? Now, she has invested 7%, so leftover is 28%. Out of this 15%, sorry, they have invested, they have received 35% and 15%, 50%. They have invested 11.5. So, if you remove 11.5, obviously it has to be 38.5%, right? So, otherwise I can do like this. Out of 35, 20% of this means 7% invested. Out of 15%, 30% means 4.5 invested. So, how much is left over? 35 minus 7, 28. 15 minus 4.5, 10.5, 38.5%, right? You can calculate now 38.5%. 38.5 upon 100 into 1,80,000. Clearly, 2 zeros will get cancelled. I can say it is 385 into 180. If you know 18 table, it is easy. 0, 18 5s 90. 18 8s 144 plus 9, 153. 18 3s 54 plus 15, 69. So, it has to be 69,300. 69,300 is present in option 2. Otherwise, see here. 385 into 180, how do you do this? 385 into 180. I will keep this 0 aside. I will put the 0 little later. Multiply 385 by 18. We have a special technique to multiply numbers from 11 to 19. What will we do? Put a 0 here, 3, 8, 5. 0 at the left extreme and right extreme. I am multiplying by 18. What is the unit digit? 8. So, you multiply by 8, you make it 8 times and add its right digit. Start from right hand side. 8 5s are 40. 40 plus 0, 40. 0 here, 4 here. 8 8s are 64 plus 5. Multiply with 8 because unit digit is 8 and add its right digit. 69 plus 4, 73. 8 3s are 24 plus 8, 32. 32 plus 7, 39. 9 here, 3 here. 8 0, 0 plus 3, 3. 3 plus 3, 6. So, 6, 9, 3, 0. I have one more 0 here. So, 69,300. Option 2 should be your answer. This is special multiplication techniques from 11 to 19. In speed maths, you might have discussed this. Let's move ahead to question number 7, students. Amount invested by Mallika's friend Radha is 25% more than amount invested by Mallika. Okay. Radha's investment is 25% of her income. Find income of Radha. This is important. Find income of Radha. How much is Radha investing? 25% more than the amount invested by Mallika. How much is Mallika investing? 20% of 35%. So, 7%. Right. So, how much will be Radha investing? Radha investing 25% more than amount invested by Mallika. 25% more means, see here, you can do like this. 7% plus 25% means 1/4 of 7. 4 1s are 4, 30, 1.75. So, it is 8.75%. That is her investment, Radha's investment. Or she is investing 25% more amount than Mallika. 25% more means her investment is 125% of Mallika's investment. 125% is nothing but 5/4, students. So, it is 5/4 of Mallika's investment is 7. 35/4, it is 8.75%. I can also solve like this. 7%, she is investing 4%, 25% more. 25% of 7 is 1/4 of 7. 1/4 of 7 is 1.75. So, 7 plus 1.75, 8.75%, or she is investing 25% more. 25% more means my total value has to be, base is 100. 100 plus 25, 125% of Mallika's investment. 125% is clearly 5/4. So, 5/4 of 7, it has to be 8.75%. Now, don't make the mistake of finding out the values anywhere. Not required. Is it my question? Find the investment? No. What is my question? My question says find the income. How much is her investment, ma'am? Her investments here, 25% of her income. Her investment is 25% of her income. Income should be how much percent? 100%. That means her income is 4 times of her investment. 4 times means 8 4s are 32. 0.75 into 4 is 3. So, her income is how much, ma? 35%. So, find out 35% of 1,80,000. 35% of 1,80,000. So, it will be how much? 2 zeros, 18 5s, 90, 54 plus 9, 63. So, 63,000. 63,000 is present in first option. That is how you do. Don't find out 8.75 value, not required. I am not interested in the investment. Her investment is 25% of her income. So, income has to be 4 times, 100%. Na? So, 4 of 8.75 is 35%. So, 35%, you can do it in any way. 35% of 18,000, you calculate 18,000, you can also solve like this. 30%. Not 18,000. How much? 1,80,000. 30%. How much is 10%? 18,000. 30%? 54,000. Plus 5%. 10% 18,000. 5% will be half, 9,000. 54 plus 9. Instead of multiplying, I can also do like this. It has to be 63,000. Right? Choice 1 is your answer, students. Anyways, you can do. Let us move to question number 8. Total amount invested by all the daughters is what percentage of the total amount distributed? Please don't waste your time finding out the amounts here, again dividing by total amount 1,80,000 into 100, utter time waste. These questions, that is why if you finding out all the values, see how I am approaching all the previous questions also. If you try to find out value of each of these, it will become very lengthy, not required also, right? Now see here, amount invested by all the daughters is what percentage of total amount distributed? Total amount distributed, I am assuming 100%. 1,80,000, it is nothing but 100%. 20 plus 35 plus 15 plus 30 is equal to 100%. How much they are investing in the business, ma? We have already done this, if you remember. 25%, 1/4 of 20, 5%. This we have already done, ma. 20% means 7%. Here, ma, 30% means 4.5%. Here, 35%, 10.5%. We have done this, right? 30%, 9, ma. 5%, 1.5, 10.5. So, 15 plus 7, 22, 22 plus 5, 27%. So, clearly out of 100%, their investment, don't find out the value, second finding out percentage, utter waste. Ma. How much they are investing? 5%, 7%, 4.5, 10.5. Add all those, your total has to be 27%. It has to be choice 4 students. Right? Let's move to the next question. Question number 9 on your screen. What is the ratio of total amounts invested by Mallika and Padmaja to that of Kalyani and Vasanta? Mallika and Padmaja, right? Mallika and Padmaja, these two guys together, it is to Kalyani and Vasanta. How much she has invested? We have calculated, na, 7%. How much she has invested? 4.5. So, it is 11.5% is to, what is the amount invested here? 5%. What is the amount invested here? 10.5%. Sum of these two. So, it has to be 15.5%. Obviously, na, it is 15.5% of 1,80,000, 11.5 of 1,80,000, 1,80,000 will get nullified. Why do you want to write? Percentage will also nullified. 115 is to 155. So, clearly 5 31s, 5 23s. So, 23 is to 31. 23 is to 31 is present in choice 3. You don't need any values anywhere, ma. With percentages, we can solve this entire set, right? Let us look at last question, question number 10. Average of the balance amount left with Kalyani and Vasanta, right? Kalyani, how much she is spending, ma? 5%, na, ma? She is investing. So, what is the amount left with Kalyani? 15%. Because she has received 20%. 1/4 of that she is investing. So, she is left with 15%. Then, who is the other one? Vasanta. Vasanta, 10.5% she is investing. So, 19.5 remaining. So, average of these two people. So, 34.5% divided by 2. So, clearly it is 17.25%. This is my average. Find out 17.25% of 1 lakh. You directly multiply, or how do you find out 17.25%? How much is 10%? 1,80,000 is my number, right? Total. At 10%, 18,000, right? 10%, 18,000. Easily we can do. 5%, no need of pen and paper also. Easy numbers. Half of this, 9,000. Right? Then we got 17.25, right? How much is 2%? 1%, 1,800, 2%, 3,600. Then 0.25%. How do you get 0.25%? It is 1/4 of 1%. Half of 1%, 0.5. Again 0.5 half, 0.25. How much is 1%? 1,800. Half of that 0.5 is 900. Again 0.25 means again half. It has to be 900 half, 450. You can add 27,000, 30,000, 31,050 rupees. This should be your answer. 31050. 31050 is present in option 5. See students, how easy the set was. Without, see, this is all these are your latest exam questions, right? Without finding out or getting into the values, if you try and solve this method this way, then definitely I am saying you could save some time in the examination. If you write down all the values, then obviously it takes lot of time for your calculation, students. So that's all. This is bar graph video. We will be doing more number of videos and we will be uploading for your upcoming prelim exams, right? So we will be having pie chart, we will be having tables questions, we will be having line graph, we will be having caselets, etc. And we will also be doing many more concept videos. Also will be doing many more what you called arithmetic and quadratic comparison videos also, which will actually help you for your upcoming preparation for your bank, SSC and other railways and other competitive exam, students, right? Once again, If you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe. Any social media, we are present in all social media channels, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp, and all the handles, social media handle in all the channels is time4bank_exams. Time4bank_exams. We have also given the links to join our Telegram channel t.me/time4bank. Here we have underscore here. Underscore is here. So this is our social media handle time4bank_exams. You can search us on Instagram, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on YouTube. If you are not subscribed on YouTube, please do subscribe and please press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. All these links we have also uploaded. We have given in the description box. You can also click there and join these channels, students. So this is YouTube channel, Insta, Facebook. Links are also given in the description box. WhatsApp also same channel time4bank_exams. Right? For classroom coaching, please do contact your nearest time office. We are spread geographically across the country. You can join, you can reach your nearest time center and get the course enrolled. Also, for online courses, this is the link. This link again will be given on your in the description box, t4e.info/bankssc online. We have recorded online flexi, that is recorded course. Then we have live classes, live course going on. Then we have correspondence courses, we have test series. So all the information you can get here. Once you log in here, you get all information. We have bank exams, we have what you call 3-month course, 6-month course, 12-month course. We have SSCCGLE. Also we have bank plus SSCCGL, 6 months, 1 year. We have live batch. So all these details, including the fees, is given on the website. This is the link which will take you to the website, right? So t4e.info/bankssc online. From Time, we wish you all the best for your upcoming exam, students. Thank you very much.